Yeah.
Would you take the laundry basket downstairs for me before your rehearsal starts?
Okay. I'm resuming the recording now. I haven't been recording and now I'm recording. Okay, so it is 6:30 and we got about 32 people in. And so we'll see, and I'm expecting people will be adding as we go. Let's see, what shall I tell you first? Does everybody have their straws and cups handy? You know, let's just go ahead and
Yes.
take a moment. You can go ahead and do that, get that. So you have, where am I? I'm on here somewhere. Okay, can't see what I'm doing. So you have about
Yeah.
2 inches of water. I had a smaller cup. See this one here? I had this one before, and I splashed myself at multiple times. So I suggest a bigger cup. And we're going to do a whole bunch of straw phonation stuff today.
Adam,
Yes.
I'm also seeing who's in the waiting room, so I can go ahead and open those.
Oh,
while
you're
you-
seeing too. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That
Okay.
helps me. So, okay. So, well, first of all, I'll say hello, everybody. Welcome. Good to see you again. And as you know, the plan for today to work on Betlehemu and sing on. And I got a bunch of notes here. And yes, Roger Emerson sent me a question, sent me a tip about. He has. Can you do that, Roger? Can you now thumbs up, or is it still not working? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he showed me a setting in Zoom that should make it possible for everybody to use their thumbs up functions, but it's still
Raise your
not,
hand. Raise your hand.
to raise your hand, to raise your hand. But that apparently still hasn't fixed it. So, all right. Well, we'll keep working on that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to a video. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to watch Dr. Ingo Tietze, who is a voice specialist, has been for years and years. He's been a columnist with the National Association of Teachers of Singing in their magazine, and then been, celebrated all around the world for his vocal technique and vocology, his study of science and the voice. So he put out a video about 12, 13 years ago, something like that, that went viral. I'm not sure who it was meant for. It sounds kind of like it was meant for voice teachers or professionals, not necessarily for the general public, but it got on YouTube. He put it on YouTube, I think, and people got hold of it, and it went viral, as they say. So we're going to be using that. We'll watch that, and you'll need to have your straws and your glasses to go along with what he's doing. I've put that link already on the website, the member website. It's under your resources page, so you can go back and read this again. And I'll be looking for other resources as well. You'll notice that Dr. Tietze does not use the water. I think that was a later development that he came up with. I haven't been able to come up with that yet. Yes, Brian, tell me what.
Just a note for future people who are watching this: if the video gets trimmed or muted, go find the link on the website and watch it. Because when our public recordings are public, copyright claims occasionally happen, and if it does, the link will be on the website.
Okay, so what Brian is saying is, when I share my screen with you and I play this video on YouTube for you, if you find that it's muted, please go ahead and look up the video yourself on your browser on YouTube, and you should be able to watch it there. It's about a 4.5-minute video.
It'll work fine for now. It's just in the recording, it may get
Okay.
trimmed later.
Oh, I see in the recording. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm sharing the screen. Anybody got questions, first of all? Did I finish what I was saying before? I don't remember if I did. What was I just talking about?
But yeah.
Right, he's not using a straw in water. That seemed to have been a development that happened later. I've been meaning to talk to my friend Scott about what he knows about water, but he uses it with water all the time. So I trust his judgment that that's something that's not debunked or whatever. So here we go, sharing the screen, and we'll go to, a different, go here. Okay. So he didn't actually necessarily intend this for singers. He intended it for speakers as well. So can you see the video? Can you hear the video?
For those of you who talk several hours a day and your voice gets tired, here's a tip to keep you talking. You need to stretch and unpress your vocal cords or vocal folds often. To accomplish this, you can vocalize through a thin straw, like a stirring straw, several times a day for about 2 to 5 minutes.
Now notice that the straw he's using is smaller than the straw I've been using, and that's partly related to the water and the back pressure that the water provides. With his straw that's smaller, that provides back pressure by itself. The larger diameter straw, the water provides some of the pressure that the larger diameter doesn't provide.
Here's a regimen you can follow. First, do a pitch glide from as low as you can to as high as you can.
So glissando, here we go.
After doing the pitch glide for 1 or 2 minutes, you can vary the exercise by making progressively larger hills with the pitch and loudness of your voice. We call these little hills accents. Let me demonstrate.
So you see gradually a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. That's what he's doing right now. Let's go back and do that again all together.
After you've practiced the accents and you have a few minutes remaining, pick your favorite song and vocalize it through the straw. I'm going to choose the national anthem because it has lots of up and down in pitch, and I can build some accents into it.
There.
And so on. It is very important that you let no air escape around the straw between your lips or through your nose. If you pinch your nose, the sound shouldn't change.
And try this maybe without the bubbles.
It is also important that you use lots of abdominal muscle support to keep your tone steady and strong. It's not about making a small sound. The sound that comes out of the end of your straw will in fact be small, but your effort should be as though you're making a normal speech sound or even a loud sound. And be sure that every accent is a belly accent and not a throat accent. After you've practiced the exercises for maybe 5 minutes, you will find when you go back to normal speech, that your voice seems to be coming out of your eyes instead of your throat. We call this a high placement of the voice. The feel of the sound is lighter, but more buzzy in the face and in the head. Try to relate to that feeling and try to get that every time that you talk. And if you find that after many hours of talking, your voice does lose that placement and it goes down, down, down further until you press your voice like this, try to get the first opportunity to reset your voice with a straw. Give it a try. I think you'll like it. If you need more help, contact a speech-language pathologist that specializes in voice. We call that specialty vocology. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Okay, so stop sharing. Okay, so I wanted you to all see that together so that you would have that as a basis, that we've all seen that, everybody who's on right now, and that you'll have some idea that it's not just me being weird with the straw thing. There is a basis for this. It's actually quite remarkable. I saw a lot of people, a lot of testimonials, essentially. You know, Renee Fleming, the wonderful soprano, she says her life was changed by straw phonation. So
I'm just amazed that he could keep a straight face through the whole thing.
I know.
I realize it's a serious topic, but
I know. Well, and we had
I
a more
wouldn't be able to
interesting.
do it.
We had a more interesting version than he did, after all, with accompaniment. So I couldn't figure out how to mute from where I was, so I just let it go. So we're going to do a few more things now with the straw. I did have one person ask a question via email that I don't know if Ingo answered that question or not, and that is, the person was asking whether are we just humming through the straw or are we phonating? And the answer is we're phonating. If you hum, there are no bubbles. There's no air moving through.
It goes through your nose.
Yeah, it goes through your nose. So it has to be going at least a little bit through your mouth. Okay, now hang on. Somebody is right. Okay, so wait, let me do it first. So if I'm phonating, then there's going to be bubbles, right? If I'm not phonating, there are no bubbles. So the person who asked said it was easier to do humming with no phonation. Yes, that's true. But the point is to actually do it with your phonating happening. And especially when you do he talked about the accents, the little hills, that's kind of developing your sense of, as you change pitch, what amount of control, what amount of pressure does that take to go higher and lower? Let's do the accents that he was doing again. And remember what he said about that was, or what he didn't say it exactly, but he demonstrated their kind of little humps of sound. They go pitch, it goes up and down gradually more, like except with phonation. Let's do that together. Here we go. So. So I'm curious if anybody noticed anything about how it changed as you went higher or lower. Can anybody comment on that or ask a question? Anyone?
I think when it goes higher, I think you end up putting out more air, because that's when it got all over my desk.
Right. Yes. Yes. I discovered that too that way. Yes, Ed, go ahead.
We're doing a voice training with the straw.
Water made it
Pretty
easy
wonderful.
for me to sing high.
Wait, say it again, Ed.
How's the thing going?
The resistance of the water made it easier for me to
Oh,
higher with better control.
Alan is
Yeah. And so do you have an idea why that is, Ed? Or at least from your personal experience, what you felt?
Well, I'm going to make it up, and I think you just talked about back pressure. I think there was back pressure.
Yeah.
There's something to sing against.
Yeah. And so that probably made you apply your support in a steady and consistent way. That's part of the intention of the exercise. There's a lot of science with it. You can actually go and watch some videos about the science behind straw phonation. And it talks about the pressure above and the pressure below your glottis, your larynx, your vocal cords. A fair amount of that was over my head. You're welcome to read it, to listen to it also, and puzzle through it as I did. I mean, I've studied this stuff before, and yet I'm still trying to understand how this all fits together with the straw, especially, and the pressure and the changing in pressure. But I know it works from personal experience and from these testimonials and from what I hear from you also. So let's continue with this. And what I want to do, let's see, I wanted to, what was that? Yeah, so we'll just do some exercises that we would usually do with, I found a new word today, or a new acronym, which is SOVT. I'm going to do that for everybody. Type this in here. Everyone in meeting. Okay, so it's SOVT, which means I have to look it up. I haven't learned it well enough. Semi-occluded vocal tract. How about that? Semi-occluded.
Vocal tract.
Right, vocal tract.
Tract.
Yeah. So what that means is your mouth is partly closed, or somewhere in between when the sound comes out and when it's created in your vocal cords, there's something that is partly blocking the way, which could be your lips, could be your tongue against the roof of your mouth, could be your upper teeth against your lower lip. All of those things that I talk about as hums and buzzes all these years, that's SOVT, semi-occluded vocal tract. And so a lot of people use those exercises because it gives the same sort of, a similar sort of back pressure that Ed was just talking about, that gives you some, I'm not going to say this right, but basically equalizes the pressure and helps you understand the pressure you can use as you sing, and not use too much, which we are tending to do, which either people tend to go on two sides of this. Either it's breathy, you're not providing enough air, you're not supporting your sound enough, and you're not getting enough airflow through your sound, through your voice. Or you're pushing way too hard and you're putting a lot more effort into the sound than you need to, and you're putting your vocal mechanism under a lot of stress. That's where I tend to fall down. I tend to fall on the side of too much pressure. And so I've actually learned a little bit about that this summer. I had a online Zoom session with a speech therapist, and she said, "Whoa, why are you using so much power in your?" Because I was just doing little singing bits. I had no idea that I was using that much power, and so it was a realization for me. And there's more to talk about with that. But let's go back to getting you vocalizing again. So we're going to do the exercises like, let's get you a pitch. It's like da, 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 the 5 3 4 2 3 1 2 7 1 if you want scale degrees, which let's do this from except we're going to do it just with an open throat on the straw phonation. So 1 2 3. Good. Now, I'm going to take the advantage. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody for now because it's interesting but hard when everybody's doing it at the same time. Here's a new pitch. 1 2 3. And here. And up. And 1 again. Good. And while we're stopped, I'm going to stop for a minute and I want to ask you how your feeling was. Did you feel like there were times when it wasn't smooth and you had to apply more pressure? What was it like when you first made your sound? Did you notice that you had to put a little extra pressure to get the sound going? Let's do a couple more, okay? So here's a new one. 1 2 3. And up. and smoothly. How's your neck? Is it easy? And here's again, 2, 3, go. One more. Okay, and I'm going to stop for a moment. So I'm curious. I'm seeing people. So what did you experience in terms of the continuity of your tone? I'm curious if anybody has anything they want to add or say about that. Any thoughts?
It broke frequently, and I realized that if I sang like that worked, I wouldn't be in the chorale anymore because the tones were terrible.
Uh-huh.
They just jumped all over. They weren't consistent.
Okay. So did you find you were able to change that, or was it always that way?
The higher we got, the worse it got
Uh-huh.
as far as
Okay.
control goes, but it was tough through the whole process.
All right. Well, I think the diagnosis is for you to go do some more of it, probably.
I'm afraid that's the one.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, but I'm interested. Did other people find that it was harder as you got higher, or how did it change?
I found that I had to relax my lips and my, what do they say, cheeks. I had to relax everything. I was really tense in the beginning, kind of gripping the straw with my lips. And I found if I relaxed all of this, it made it easier to push through the straw.
Excellent. Excellent. And other people, other comments, thoughts?
I found that, now I've lost my train of thought. I found it was disconcerting because I would blow and then I'd get my straw stuck on the bottom of the glass. And
Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of getting used to all the parts and pieces that you're handling at once, let alone what's happening inside your body. So yeah, I can understand that. I was watching some people and I was seeing as we were getting higher, I'll do this from the side, there's kind of like, they were starting to pull down and tighten and kind of put pressure from here rather than using the work from here. So I think maybe this could be a method that you can learn about what the difference is when you're applying pressure from here, which is not going to help you to smooth that out, versus when you're getting it from here, which is going to help you smooth out that breath, like what Bob was experiencing, I think. All right, one more exercise with the straw, and then we'll move on to some other things. So this is like the except we're still on back pressure with the straw. Let's do it from D, from a D. So the top note will be 1, 2, 3, and here too, we'll give a whole measure. Mine was totally messy and all over the place. I need to smooth it out again. Here it is, another 1, 2, 3. Then here, 2, 3. When we do the next one, as you're breathing in, you're going to think about what Pat was talking about with the tension in your lips and your face, also tension in your neck. Is it all easy? Or are you working from here? And we'll do the same pitch again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now let's experiment. You can take the straw out of the water for a minute. You might experiment with a smaller straw. Also, I don't happen to have coffee straws handy because I don't drink coffee. So I don't have that handy to experiment with the different degrees of pressure that a smaller diameter straw would give me. But you can experiment with going back and forth between doing it with the straw and the straw out. So like this. We'll do the same exercise. Let's go back down here. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3, and go. So I basically randomly, I'm going to take the straw out, put it back in, see if I can keep a similar feeling, not changing anything as I go through. Let's do another one. 1, 2, 3. Here, 2, 3. And here, 2, 3. I'm going to go a little bit higher on this because I'm interested in people experiencing higher notes, because part of the point of straw phonation is being able to handle register shifts, changes between the lower parts of your voice and higher parts of your voice, and the adjustment that has to happen here physically. When we put too much pressure on our voice, like I was talking about before, we make those adjustments more abrupt and violent, or maybe they can't even happen at all because we put so much pressure on the vocal mechanism. So this is a way of evening that out so that it can be smoother and it can be more easily transitioned. There's something else I was going to say. Yeah, let's just do a couple more. So where are we at? Let's do it from, yeah, that's a G sharp. No, that's a G sharp. That's where we're going to do it. 1, 2, 3. And here, 2, 3. I remember what I was going to say. If you have that smaller diameter straw in your mouth when you're doing it like this, you're going to get that back pressure, which still forces you to smooth out your use of air. If we put it back in the jar, in the bottle, let's see what that's like. So let's do the same pitch. 1, 2, 3. I can really feel my voice is not entirely stable there, Bob. I'm with you. And so it's a matter of a different approach to this kind of singing that we may not have experienced before. I haven't very much. I remember I was at Midsummer Musical Retreat a few years ago, and my colleague and other tenor vocal faculty member, Gabe Gargari, was constantly had a straw in his mouth. All the rehearsals, every time he had a straw in his mouth. And I was supportive, but I also laughed at him a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry, Gabe. I was wrong. I was wrong. So I will be using straw phonation more. I want to bring it. I would love to see how we can manage it when we are back in person, but we'll worry about that later. Meanwhile, I think I'd like everybody to unmute. Now, what I want to know is who has a September birthday? Are there any September birthdays present? Okay, Mark. All right, okay, and Phil. Okay, and anybody else?
Brian?
Brian, okay, good. Okay, so let's all sing happy birthday with straw phonation. Okay, it won't be any worse than if it wasn't straw phonation, I think. Okay, let's see, happy, let's put it in a reasonable key. Let's put it in B. And there it was. Okay, so here we go. That's a 1 and 2. Okay. I think that's probably the weirdest happy birthday you've ever experienced. Is that true? Brian, how do you feel? Do you feel wished happy birthday? Ah. Okay. So,
I'm good.
all right. All right. So now what I'd like to do is shift over to sing on. We'll do a little bit of sing on, then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back to sing on. You will need your straws and glasses, perhaps at times as we go, because I want you to sing little bits and pieces with the straw later. And I have to wipe off my glasses because especially
I had to do that too.
splashy. Yeah. Okay. Now I need more light. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just catch up here and make sure that I've Okay. Right. So sing on. I mentioned in my email that we could be getting really close. We are getting really close to making recordings. It's time for people to start recording themselves. But I don't have enough sense yet from the group as a whole, whether that's scary right now or it's like, come on, please, can we move along a little bit? You know, and it could be from both. People could be coming from both angles. So scary. Scary. Okay, I'm hearing scary. I get scary. Okay, good.
Scary.
Wow. Okay. Well, good, because I haven't wanted to be moving way too slowly for the kind of the quorum of the group. So let's ask the question then. What part is scary? What is the scary stuff?
Page 13.
Oh, well, here. That's very specific, and that's good. That's useful. Okay, hang on. Scary. Page 13. That was a bass. That was Bob, right?
Yeah, that's the rhythm on that one.
Page 13. Okay, rhythm. Do you happen to know, Bob, whether this is something that's scary for everybody or is it just scary for basses? I need to.
Well, I don't know about everybody.
What's your theory? What's your theory? Keep your music flow. Is that ups and downs and in betweens?
Yeah,
or is,
ups and downs, right.
Ups and downs. All right, good. And what else? It can be as specific as Bob was, or it can be very general. What else is scary for folks? I got somebody, Karen, I got you. I need you to mute or yeah, thank you. So who else? Several people said scary. So what else is scary? Kelly.
Just in working in the changes that are different from the way we sang it in the spring, because I'm one of those people who runs a song over in my head just all the time. So just undoing those parts. And yes, this bit on page 13 is one of those parts.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. And thanks, Kelly. Other scary, Ed. Yeah.
Scary, but even though we erased changes, we talked about moving the S from between to it, between, that happens to us all. And that helps me jump and stay correct in timing.
Okay.
Ups and downs and in betweens, it happens to us all. Now, maybe that's inappropriate, but I've still got it here.
Yeah.
It helps me jump.
Yeah, I'm sorry that apparently this is not helping people, but I needed to not have that. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get everybody to do it right with the changes we made. I thought it would be simpler if we were looking at the original music that was notated. So that's why I made that decision. So I apologize for the people who learned it one way and now have to unlearn that. But we'll look at that spot for sure. Okay, so I see Brian.
I think, and it's surprising coming from me, one of the tech guys, but the technology aspect of doing the recording is, I won't say it's scary to me, but it's there's some apprehension there. I've tried to do multi-track recording in the past just by myself and have had lots of trouble singing along with a track. That kind of thing. I don't know until I try it, of course, how to approach it at this time, but there's some apprehension there.
Okay, good. Another track. All right, thank you, Brian. And Bob. And you're muted, Bob. And you're still muted, Bob.
There I go. Now I'm unmuted.
Good.
It's when I hear the playback and I realize I'm not doing what I thought I was doing. It becomes a matter of practice and practice. But that's the hardest part, is hearing back what you really sound like in a recording versus the wonderful rich tones you hear in your ears.
Right, right. Now I understand that, and we did talk about that at one point, right? We did. Okay, so everybody understands the reasons why you don't sound anyone doesn't sound as rich as they do in their heads, Does anybody not remember that or understand that? I'm looking for hands. Okay. All right. So yeah, I understand, Bob, but it sounds like you already are listening to yourself. It sounds like you have maybe a method in place that you can check yourself.
I do, and yeah, basically it's recording off my phone. It hasn't been off the music, but it's been off other songs. So I'm practicing the recording process
Yeah.
for myself rather than practicing the individual music. I'm looking forward to the tick track to try to keep the rhythm right.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a good idea for anyone, is to take the pieces apart. You know, this is the way I rehearse all the time. Take the pieces apart and then put them back together. That is, take the technology part and do it separately. Have your phone, record yourself on your phone, play it back, change the file name, send it to somebody. All of those things are steps that you'll need in the process for this recording project. But if you are comfortable and familiar with those steps, then it makes it a little bit less of a whole insurmountable bunch of steps that you have to deal with, because some of them will be familiar. Okay, other things about scary, please. And yes, it doesn't have to be scary. It could be concerning. It could be, you know, it doesn't have to be scary. Go on. Somebody else? Anyone else?
Adam, when you say change the file name, are you talking, is that something, see, I've just recorded myself just a little bit on the program that Mark encouraged us to use. But do we change the file name on as we record it, or when we send it to you? How does that work? And those things are,
okay.
I don't understand.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm not entirely sure yet how we're going to share files. I just came across work that Brian did. I think Brian did it on the website. That's like a mock-up of a place to submit your files. Is that right, Brian? That's what that's for?
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I've tried looking at several different ways of possibly doing it, but I will get back to working on that so we know what we're doing.
Yeah, and on that, so that page probably isn't visible to the chorale as a whole, is that right? We don't have any links to it. Okay, that's fine. So it will become available when it's time to submit recordings. But so Marilyn, here's something of an answer to your question and for everybody. When I put the audio tracks that you record into Logic, into the program where they're all assembled, I really need them to be labeled in such a way that I know who you are and which part you're singing. For most of you, if you just send me a recording that your phone makes, it might be like iPhone 423611, it might be something unintelligible to me. And I would have to take the step of figuring out who it was and which part they were and changing that file name myself, which it's not a big deal, but when you multiply it by 60 people or something like that, then it does become a big deal and a time suck for me. Also, very good possibility that I'll lose files or misname them or who knows what. So if you're responsible for labeling your file, then that helps me a lot. So in answer to another part of your question, it's not something you do while you're recording. Once you've completed your recording, there may even be a step where you say, yes, I want to keep this recording, as opposed to, no, let's do it over again. Once you keep the recording, then you can change the file name generally. I know Voice Record Pro, that's the app that you were using that Phil suggested, that has a pretty easy means of changing the name on there. It sounded pretty easy, it felt easy to me. So I hope that people will be able to figure that out. But on the website, and I might be getting to what Brian wants to talk about here, I think it might be possible on the website that there might be an auto name function for files that get submitted there, maybe?
I will keep that in mind, but it would be good to have a published convention of what, name dash part dash song, whatever.
And that's what I want. I'm going to put it right here in the chat. So this would be the song title and part name. Part, and then your name. So like, for example, sing on underscore tenor underscore Adam. It might be that for a file name. So that's what I would need. Okay. So this is useful. This is good for me to hear what is of concern for you. I had a break scheduled at 7:10, and I want to be better about doing my breaks when I intend to. So I'm going to take that break right now, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes, and we'll be sing on when we come back. Okay? I'm going to.
Yeah. There's an error. Yeah, hidden figures. Hmm? What is it about? The three black gals that calculated stuff. The first flight missions, I guess. Oh, okay.
Adam,
Yep.
I'm looking due south towards the Olympics and towards Mount Rainier. And what I see is a bank of smoke headed right for us.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
might remind the choir to be aware of that for their voices in the next few days. I can see it coming in. The skies are gray, or I mean brown. It's actually brown, and it's just headed right towards me.
Hmm.
That means
Thank you.
Gauging or developing a sense of the air pressure you're using.
FIGUR. For ES.
Okay. Really see it. There it is.
Yeah, that's
Horrible.
Amazon Prime.
Oh, good. No,
Hmm? Yeah. How much?
okay. Okay. Well, another minute. Another minute. All right, let's go back to Sing On then. And I'm going to start. I have a bunch of things that I want to do. I'm going to make sure I get to page 13. But I want to start with the tenors and basses, actually. So I've been thinking about what are the places that might, in a recording from you all, that places that might need a little bit of extra attention. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So a couple spots that we haven't worked on yet include page 7 for the tenors and basses. This happens more than once for you, but on page 7, that's the first point where you have the half step drops on ooh, or on ah. So at the top of page 7, we have a B flat, and I'm going to do it out of context, not with the recording, with the practice guides first. Ladies, you can work on this too. This is good practice for you. That's a B flat. The tricky part is making sure you don't go too flat, that you keep a good quality tone as you're singing. So this thing, gotta stop you because I'm muting and I'm doing it, and then you'll do it after me. So the point is, as you go down by half steps, we want to make sure that those half steps aren't too far, that you don't go too far down. And also, if you can keep the quality of vowel, the quality of tone the same as you go, you're going to be much more likely to stay in tune. Now, I want to experiment with everybody, might as well ladies too. I'd like to experiment with everybody singing this line. This is the tenor or bass line on the top of page 7. And we're just going to do the half step. Ah, here's your B flat again. So 1, 2, 3. Sing on. Let's do it that way. So we're going to do the ah part with the straw, and then you take the straw out to sing on. And I'll tell you why we're going to do that in a minute, but let's do it first. Okay, so here we go. Here's your B flat again. 1, 2, smooth it out. Sing on. Now here's the reason why I want you to sing on without the straw and do the rest of it with the straw. When you're singing that ah, when you're singing it on an ah, you're going to have to really keep control of your voice and maintain the same sort of steady quality. When you sing on in the lower part of your range, tenors, it's getting somewhat down for you, especially female tenors. Even for the basses, it's getting down lower than you were before. And it would be really easy to kind of let your air go and let it escape and not have the same quality. So the fact that you have to change to text at that point in this exercise is, I hope, going to make you think about that and how will you make that transition smoothly. Let's do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3, and go. Sing on. Because you don't want to go sing on, you know, and kind of spray all over the sound there. So now let's do one more version of this. We're going to take the straw out, we're going to sing with it start with the straw in and then take it out, put it back in, take it out, experiment with going back and forth. See if you can keep a fairly consistent tone as you go. Here's that B flat again. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so I don't really know how it went for you all. Any comments or thoughts? Did that change things for you? Did it help? Was it hard? Give me some feedback. You're probably muted. Uh-oh, Bob, there was a struggle. Okay.
It was definitely a struggle because
So I considered doing a half step exercise as part of our warm-ups there for everybody, but I thought I would just do it when we got to it in the song. But I think that would be a valuable thing for anybody to do, is just do half steps, going down, going up with the straw, and see if you can control when the pitch changes. Make sure that you are doing it slowly enough that you can take the time to really assess whether that's happening for you or not. And if you find that you're not, I would like to know. So please do let me know. I'm curious what you find from your experiments with straws. So Bob, do you want to comment? Go ahead about
I
what?
have a question.
Yeah.
I can't hear the pitch over the bubbles.
Uh-huh.
So I can't differentiate. It's in the middle of white noise.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have no differentiation.
I have a bit, I can hear it to some extent, but I hear what you're saying. I have a problem with that. If you change to a coffee straw with a smaller diameter, you will be able to hear yourself better in that context. So try that. And this goes, Ingo Titze has said, you can experiment with different sizes of straws. You can experiment depending on the day, or depending on how you're feeling, or depending on how well you're connecting to your breath. You may find that you need to change to a different size straw to get that back pressure. Or if you have too much back pressure, you might change to something a little bit larger so you're not working so hard. So you can experiment with this and find ways to make it work for yourself. All right. I not being able to hear how people are doing in terms of pitch, I'm hoping that you're tuning with that, with what we just sang. Let's go briefly to Logic Pro and play a bit of that again. Or this time I'm going to play it while you sing. Okay, so go away soon. So can you see Logic? Okay, can you hear? Can you hear Logic? Okay, good, thank you. All right, so we are right about in the right spot. No, we're not in the right spot. That's, let me just find that. Where is that? Sorry, scrolling. I said I wouldn't. 115. Thank you, Roger. Okay, here we go. Back there. So I'm going to go back a few seconds before. This is good practice for, so again, women, sopranos and altos, go ahead and sing this with us. But what I'm thinking about right now is this is a good practice for you to be aware of hearing a pitch, listening to a practice guide, figuring out exactly when you come in, figuring out when you need to breathe in order for it to be ready to come in at that point. So hopefully we're starting early enough that that will be comfortable. From your heart until the day is past and gone. So here we go. 2, 3. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on. Yeah. It's funny, you know, as I sang Sing On right there, I could feel myself, I let go of the control that I'd had on the breath management, and I would sing on, you know, which is exactly what I did not want to do. So that's why I need this work. We need this work, I think. And so I'm curious, let me come back out of sharing for a moment. Was that, could you hear your pitch that time any better? Could you hear whether you were fitting in tune with that, guys, especially tenors and basses? Somewhat, okay. So let's do this also. We'll figure that for the next time, for the next session, between now and next week, see if you can find a small diameter coffee straw that we can also experiment with, besides the water. All right, so I need to move on. I want to go on to some other things. Sopranos and altos, page 14. Let's go to that spot, okay. And that means page 14. Right, so that's when the altos and the sopranos at first come in on different parts, and then they go into a unison, which goes up to a high E flat, which I know some of the altos have a little concern about that. So let's go ahead and share the screen again. No, I'm going to stay with you for a moment here. Let's just work a little bit on it first. So when we come into that spot on page 14, we're going to start just a little bit like you'll find a way to carry on. We'll start at that spot there. Tenors and basses, any of this stuff, feel free to sing along with also. It's good for you too. So you'll find a way to carry on. That's where we are on the top of page 14, the pickup to 14. I'm just going to go ahead and sing it. You sing it with me. And let's go through it once, ladies, and then I'm going to ask you to give me some feedback if there's anything you want to say about what's challenging for you in that spot. So you'll find 1, 2, 3. You'll find a way to carry on. Sing on, sing on, sing on. Whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on. Sing it from your heart till the day is gone, till it's gone. All right, good. So there's something about this section for me. A lot of what Lane Johnson wrote in this song feels comfortable to me. It feels like I have chances to breathe. Now, I may be having you breathe more often than he has it notated, actually. But the way I'm doing it for you, the way we're doing it, there should be plenty of time to breathe comfortably between each phrase, and the phrases aren't really that long. And I did that partly so that altos especially would get a chance to feel settled and stable before they went into those higher range phrases. So, like, for example, if I was singing the alto part, of course I was singing soprano before, and I was starting on bottom of page 14, sing on, I'm gonna talk through it a little bit. So if I was there, letter F, at the bottom of 14, 3, 4, and sing on, whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing it from your heart till the day is gone. So going back to the bottom of page 14, heading up to the top of 15, at that spot where it goes, whatever, you notice I'm scooping there. It's totally okay to scoop there. It's part of the style that I'm happy to hear from you there. And the reason partly why I'm doing that, I don't have to scoop to feel good about singing that spot, but it kind of puts me in the right spot. You know how Ingo Tietze was saying, if your voice kind of starts dropping, right, and it sort of start pressing on your voice, that's what we want to avoid, especially for you altos. The sopranos, they're used to this tessitura. That's not hard for them. It's not high for them. For you, getting up to a C, for some of you I know, is a little bit of a challenge, and certainly the E flat on the bottom of the page is as well. So you want to put it where it feels like it's going to feel right to sing it, and the straw phonation is part of one of the ways that you can do that. The whatever, for me, it's a scoop up to a point that feels higher in my head, and that might help for you. This may be something that's different for you than it is for me because I'm male and you're female, but we'll see. Now, sing on, bottom of page 15. Of course, you have that breath marked in. Basically, it's the second quarter note of measure 68. You get a full quarter note worth of breath there before you sing it from. So when you release the word on in measure 68, you want to release baggage. Think about yourself. I've never used this metaphor before. Think about yourself as like a hot air balloon, right? And you want to dump some ballast before you go up to that high range. So sing on, release. Sing it from your heart. Make it light as you go up, not light in terms of support, but light in terms of effort and tension. As much as you can lighten it up, that's going to help you there. Altos, your choice. Actually, everybody can sing this. Feel free, everybody, to sing. We'll go again from the top of 14, pick up to that first measure you'll find a way to carry on. And if you feel like singing it with a straw, that's cool. If you don't, go ahead and sing with text. So here we go. To find, you'll find. Let's just check and make sure that we have an E flat, sorry. you'll find. Good. 2, 3. Sing on. Oops, I switched to the soprano. Okay, so those of you who sang with the straw, did that change anything for you? Did that help? What was that like? I'm curious. Anybody want to comment? Lisa, is that you commenting? Okay. No, okay, all right. Okay, that's all right. No need for comment. So anyway, for me, now granted, an E flat is not too hard for me, but sometimes it doesn't feel great some days. But when I do it with a straw, when I do it with a lightness, when I do it with connection, when I use the phrase shapes to help me get momentum, those things all help me to sing those sections for that the altos have with ease. So I think that can help the altos as well. And I hope that you will experiment with some of those things and let me know how well that's working for you. Okay, so sopranos, I'm going to kind of figure that you're not having trouble coming in on that F. Sing on, sing on. Unfortunately, if you listen to my recording, it's one of the places I'm not all that happy with. I sound a little squeaky. I didn't keep enough space open when I recorded that. And when I modified it digitally to take it up the octave to your range, you can really hear that. It really sounds squeaky because I don't have the space inside my larynx, in pharynx. So that's something you want to try to do if you can, is keep that space open. You know what? We should probably rehearse that. How we doing? We're doing fine. So sing on. I'm going to do that with the sopranos. We're going to come in at the same spot that we did on top of page 14. This time sopranos are the focus. Tenors, you should sing this too because this is good practice for you. And anybody can sing it. So you can sing, you'll find a way to carry. Here we go. And we're going to, when we come in at the bottom of page 14 on the high F, you're going to think about, I think it's helpful to have a feeling of momentum in the rhythm so that it's not like you tighten up as you approach that F, but rather you flow into it with the music. The music takes you there. So I think I'm going to go to Logic Pro and I'm going to share that so that that will give you that momentum. So just a second, hang on. Page 14 into 15 means about 3:10. This will be a little bit early. Here we go, sopranos. You'll find a way to carry on. Stay loose. 1. Sing on, sing on. Whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on. Release. Till from your arms to the place gone, till it's gone. There's always a way. Good. So something that first of all, we're a little slower here in the recording than I've been singing it. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, there's retard there. So at the bottom of 14, this is something that really everybody should be paying attention to. There are times when the music called for a retard in the tempo, and Stephanie did that. One of the challenges for me when I put together Stephanie's recordings was making sure that we could hear like the left hand. I think I might have told you about this, but I'm going to revisit it anyway. If you look at the left hand of the piano part at the bottom of page 14 and the top of page 14, last measure, there's a constant eighth note pattern, eighth note motion happening from the left hand going into the right hand. Each measure, it's a pretty consistent pattern that happens through the song. But of course, when we get to the top of 14, last measure, there's a retard there, so those eighth notes slow down. And at the bottom of page 14, they pick back up into a little bit faster tempo that we've been at before. So you really need to be able to hear that. I will be showing that in my conducting on the video click tracks so you can see that. We can't really do that with a metronome click because it's something that Stephanie felt subjectively, and to try to get the computer to do that would be pretty nightmarish. I might be able to provide clicks like that. We'll see if I can make that work. Meanwhile, we need to go back and hear that again. And I'd say tenors and basses, why don't you go ahead and sing your part on page 14, paying attention to how that retard happens and what that means for you. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to bring basses and tenors up just a little bit. Let's go back to about the same spot, a little bit earlier. About here. Betweens, it happens to us all, so keep your music flowing strong. Top of page 14. You'll find a way to carry on. 1, 2, 3, sing on. 1, 2, 3, sing on. Comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Stop there again. All right. So, any questions on that spot there? Any things that people want to add or address further? Okay, let's step backwards just a little bit to page 12 and 13 and work on that rhythm that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So I need to check here. Checking here the chat just in case. Okay, right. So the issue was the timing then, the rhythm on page 12, and that I changed it back to the way it's notated on the top of page 13. So I'm going to be mostly focusing on the altos, tenors, and basses right now, since they have the same rhythm and the sopranos is a little bit different. So let's look through that rhythm. Let's speak it in rhythm, starting from the bottom of page 12. One thing to note, we just talked about retard heading into a transition. That does not happen at the bottom of page 12, which is really important because that rhythm is a little tricky and we need to be really well established and solid on the rhythm, on the tempo on page 12. So there's no retard heading in there. So if I say from the top of page 12, let's do it from there. Find the things that keep you singing on. 2, speaking. Find the things that keep you singing on. 3, sing on. 2, 3, breath. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on. All right, I'm going to go back now to the top of page 13. We'll do ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. We're going to loop those 2 measures and do it 3 times. Here's ups and downs, alto, tenor, soprano rhythm. 2, 3, and ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. Again. Ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. Once more. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. All right, so are you finding the right rhythm, especially on happens to us all? If you take a look, if I share the screen again and take a look at the score real quick, you remember that I marked this ups and downs. We talked about how those, with the altos, and it's true for the tenors and basses, that stress on to and all is kind of like a little surprise, a little syncopation. So happens to us all. You want to stress those words in your mind to give them that a little bit of momentum Rhythmic momentum. I think that's what I was looking for. I'm going to do again from ups and downs. One, and say it. Ups and downs and in betweens. It happens to us all. So the betweens sets that syncopation up. Everything up through here has been pretty static rhythmically. Then we got the syncopation, but then the syncopation changes a little bit here too. So you have to be flexible in your response to the rhythm of the song. Let's do ups one more time. 2, 3, and go. Ups and downs and in betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on. So let's go back now into the music. I don't want you to, you can choose whether you want to sing it or speak it in rhythm. I'm going to go back to about 240 and then I'll go back into the music.
Find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on.
I'm going to speak the rhythm.
Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on.
1, 2, 3, sing. 1, 2, 3. Sing it from all the way to 1. Sopranos take it.
There's always a way.
I'm gonna keep going here for the retard. 1, 2, and 3. Sing all 1. Altos. Sing on. All right, got to stop there. Okay, so unshare. So what I want to also look at a little bit before we go to other things. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I want to look at the alto part on page 17. So sopranos and tenors and basses, you're welcome to sing along, but this is really especially for the altos. On page 17, heading into page 18, remember how you change roles, altos. So at the bottom of 16, the tenors and basses, there's always a way to find the things that keep you singing on. Then you, with the basses and the tenors, you take over that melody on page 17. Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on. Then altos, you change, and you've got that second counter melody. Sopranos have a counter melody. The altos have a counter melody, while the tenors and basses stay on the main melody. So one person was asking about the timing from bottom of 17 to the top of 18, making sure that you're doing that page 18 correctly. I was thinking about that, and so I'm going to go back and share. I marked up the score to kind of show a little bit about how I think about that transition for the altos on page 17. So from bottom of 17, here we are looking at page 17, bottom score, and these blue markers here was 1, 2, 3. If you think about the timing, one of the questions that you might have, and I don't know exactly, altos, what questions you might have about this, but this is one thing that you might be a little bit unsure about when this change happens. So, ever comes your way, sing on, that's the first one. Sing on, that's the first one. Sing on. Here there's a pattern, there's a relationship between those three sing-ons. They all happen at the same time in the measure. They also have a harmonic progression to them, which is part of the music. So if we were doing this just by itself, And this is one step. And we need to look at what happens later, altos as well, but that's separate. So sing on, sing on, sing on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Sing on, 2, 3. Sing on, 2, 3. Sing on. That will hopefully help you feel that rhythm and not be unsure. Because realize the sopranos have their own rhythm that's going on. You have to be ahead of the basses and tenors on the melody that you know well by this point in the song. So you have to anticipate them a little bit. You also have to sing these notes longer than I just did. I was giving you counts, but I do want you to sing a half note worth here. So let's do that again. Sing on. Actually start ever comes. We'll start right there. 2, 3, 4. Ever comes your way, sing on, sing on, sing on. And that's all I wanted to do for the moment. Now, if we take this last part here from page 18 through there to the top of 19, sing on and sing it from. Notice I put a little emphasis here under the from. Sing it from. Partly that's because of the words. The it gathers your sound and stops it with a T, and then it releases it with the from. Sing it from, which kind of works with the syncopated rhythm that Lane Johnson has put in here. So go with that. Go with that natural change in your mouth that helps you explode into that syncopation. Sing it from. Let's just do that part. And 1, 2. Sing it from. Again, 1, 2. Sing it from your heart. From your heart, sing on, sing on. There's so many interesting shifts in rhythm through here. I can understand why it might throw some people off and they'd be unsure about it. So let's do this again from sing on. And your heart gets the same sort of stress as it from does. Your heart, from your heart, sing on. You can connect from your heart, sing on, not breathing there as I've got that marked, whereas you got that nice T that clarifies your rhythm right here. Let's do it again, sing on, 1, 2, 3. Sing on and sing it from your heart, sing on, sing on. And how long do you hold it? 3 counts there to the 4th beat. Luckily, there's always a way. You're all coming back into unison there. Altos, if you're wobbly at that point, you'll be hidden by the other sections. That's not a problem. Let's go back, altos, all the way to, sorry, to scroll in front of you. Let's go sing on letter G. You've been waiting for the tenors and basses to sing to find a way that keeps you singing on. There is a retard heading in here, so you'll have to watch out for that and listen for that, altos. I think let's do that. I can't sing if I play the music I've discovered, so, but let me, okay, 3:54. I'm going to start about 3:50, and I'll just have the music play with you, altos. Okay, here we go.
Is the tear singing on, sing on. Whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on.
2, 3.
Sing on and sing from your heart, from your heart, sing on, sing on. There's
Go ahead and finish it up.
to find the things that
remember I'm counting that 5 so that when you count, when you sing the last note on, you're going to count to 5, and 5 is going to be your cutoff there. Okay, I'm looking for, right, so we need to take a break here very shortly, but I think before we do that, let's go through the entire song. I had lots more things to work on than I had time for, which is good. Let's see, page 10. Yeah, I want to look at this really briefly. Page 10, basses. You haven't done very much, so let's do a moment with you. I want you to hear something and think about how you can do it better as you sing it. So we've just finished at the bottom of 9. And it stirs the music in my soul. Sing on. And then you're into the parts, the 4-part harmony on page 10. Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on, right? You're working your way up the scale there. It's kind of a little bit of an unusual phrase for basses because basses don't usually go up and up and up and stay there. They come back down, right? So there might be for some of you a little bit of a challenge going up and up and up in that way and making sure you're tuning, especially since the last notes on the page, sing on, A flat, B flat, you're singing against the tenors. They're singing on, they're singing a C against your B flat. And so there's going to be a clash there. If you can hear it, that might throw you off a little bit, or you can maybe sing into it. Hear the clash, enjoy the clash, sing into the clash. Let me go to that point in the music so we can hear how that sounds. No, it's page 8. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out just the tenors and basses so you can hear them. You're welcome to sing. Well, no, let's have you listen first of all. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you and go into Logic Pro. And sorry, where was that? It was 2:15. Out here. Let's turn the altos down and the basses and tenors up, so we can hear lots of you. Okay. And it stirs the music bottom of 9, top of 10. Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on. A nice clash there. Sing on. Nice clash there too. Keep your music going. Light basses as you go down. From your heart until the day is past and gone. Now right there at that spot, day is past and gone, at the bottom of page 11 basses. It would be easy to drop your guard. The hard part's over. You're at the end of this section, and so it would be easy to let go of your energy and kind of go flat or heavy as you sing, day is past and gone. I just really shouldn't sing badly, but that's how one might do it if you did it badly. Let's go back, basses and tenors, back to about the top of page 9, and I'd like you to sing that. Actually, sopranos and altos, you might as well sing along with. So, basses, I want you to think about, you might even try singing with the straw, as like, keep your music going, flowing from your heart. So you're keeping it steady and smooth in your breath. Let's see where we're starting here. Let's see. Music in my soul. Yeah, I want to go back a little bit farther than that. Sorry, here we go. So. Right, bottom of 8, fearing I can't face. Top of 9, tenors, here we go, altos. But deep inside I know I've got to learn my life unroll. Basses. And it stirs the music in my soul. Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on. Energy basses. Sing on. Nice and light basses. Energy up. Up. Here's that ooh now. this too.
Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong.
We'll finish the song.
You'll find a way to carry on. Sing on. Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. There's always a way to find the things that keep you singing on.
2, 3, sing on. 1, sing.
Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on.
Altos.
Sing on. Music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. There's always a way to find the things that
Keep the bubbles blowing. Up, 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 up.
Sing on. Find a way to sing. Sing on. Sing on.
3, 4, 5. All right, good. So now we're definitely overdue for a break. So we'll take 5 minutes now, and then we'll be back in just a few.
Does that word mean swallow it?
Hmm?
E-L-I-D.
Oh, elide, yes. Right, so elision is when you connect a consonant to the word that follows it. So like when you said, oh gosh, I can't even. Well, flowing from your heart until the day, heart until, that would be that would be an elision.
Heart until, okay.
Yep. And don't make it too crisp. I don't need that crispity at that moment.
I just realized I was almost doing the Cockney thing. Heart just
until,
left it.
Yeah. Maybe a little more than that.
Yes.
If the tenors and the basses made their T's really obvious at that point, really present, then there would be a definite conflict with the altos, because the altos and the tenors' T's would not line up, and it would,
right.
it would sound actually unpleasant. So we'll soften that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Ow.
I think the biggest problem I'm going to have with the recording, Adam, is that I'll feel self-conscious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like I'm doing a solo performance, and you know, I'm fine here because it's just me and I know no one's listening to what I'm doing. I'm nice and muted.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is only one person is going to hear you. That's me, other than in the final mix.
Mm-hmm.
And so people really don't need to worry about me being, well, I'm just, I don't do things to make people feel bad about their singing. That's not,
Right.
that's not, it's not a good approach. So
are we going to have anything for people to look at? Because I remember reading that we're not going to be seeing our faces.
that's right. Yes, what we're doing is we're putting the audio final versions, assembling them with PowerPoint slides, which will show the text, and also images, which we can do a few different ways. We can go abstract. We can have actual photos, perhaps related to the text that we're singing about. That's what I've done a lot with my students. Or we can have images, we can have photos of the choir members, which is my plan for Christmas Memories particularly. That's what I'd like to do for that one. So there will be something for people to look at. It'll be just the text and images. It won't be any video.
I really like the things that you see right now on YouTube where they have all the kids singing and they put them together, but you see all their personalities. But that makes us feel even more self-conscious, I'm sure.
That's part of it. And also that the video aspect takes a tremendous amount of work and technological know-how, which I don't have. So there's a possibility we will do something like that in the future, but
one thing at a time.
One thing at a time. And really doing the audio versions first is a way of getting us used to being able to record ourselves and get comfortable with that before we even have to worry about the video part.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I think probably that's about 5 minutes, and I want to get started again. So what I want to do actually is show people, I just wanted to take a moment and show you what some other people are doing for a way to sing together. And it's called a driveway choir. And maybe some of you already looked into this, but I'll share the screen and play just a little bit of a video here that shows a couple that have been doing that. So this is, and I am sharing, are you seeing a YouTube video just a little bit? Okay, good. So let's make it go.
So how about right next to the storm drain, so it doesn't fall in, but.
I need no place to sit.
Yep. You can probably pull it back a little to make a little more.
Number 5.
5 is right here. Okay, so we'll slide that up. Testing, testing. Testing, testing.
It's live.
It's live. Woo!
All right.
We shall not give up the fight. We have only started. We have only started.
We organized a driveway choir on July 2nd for 17 singers and a piano. People drove to our street, we handed them a disinfected microphone, and they tuned in using their car radios to hear the sound of the choir. Catherine conducted from the driveway. What you're hearing is the sound that was broadcast to the car radios.
Holding hand, hand holding hand, hand holding hand. We shall not give up the fight. We have only started. We have only started.
So I'm going to jump ahead real quick to some of their descriptions of what this looks like. Let's see. Yeah. Oops, go back about here.
let us control how loud they are and to produce a stereo output called main mix.
Okay, so they got these wired microphones that they must have had cables long enough to get to the cars that were nearest the driveway. And then they had some wireless microphones that they set up into different channels. And then they had, I don't remember what this was for, but then this all came out into a mix that then they sent by way of FM to the people's car radios.
Now we need main mix to go to several different devices, so we use a headphone amplifier to make 4 copies of the main mix. 1 copy to the FM transmitter, 1 for the speaker if we need that, 1 for the conductor's headphones, and a simple way to record would be to put a handheld Zoom recorder onto one of those outputs too.
Okay, so that's
But we
probably
did
enough
something a
just
little
to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what those people are doing. So I don't have any intention of doing that myself. I don't know how we could possibly do it with 60 people or 100 people. Unless we had a 100-channel mixer. Never mind. Anyway, so that's not really something that I'm planning on pursuing, but I just thought people would like to know about that people are doing creative things to continue to sing together, even if they can't quite get together. Oh, Karen's volunteered your field. Good. Okay, thank you. So we got a field. That's a start. So it's an interesting thing, and I'll share other things as we go about what people are doing to make their music making possible. So,
Adam,
yes.
our church does drive-in church using that same method. The only difference is not everybody has a mic. They just sit in their cars and they can sing along if they want, but they can hear all the stuff that's mic'd to it. And if everybody had their windows down, we could hear who's next to us.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. So I'm glad to know that people are making use of it. Yeah. So now we're going to go back. We're going to go over to Bethlehemu and work on that for the rest of our rehearsal, which is only about a half hour, less than. I know that some people were getting used to the speed, getting used to saying the words fast and being in the right spot at the right time. So I want to spend a little bit of time practicing the words. Also, some people might still be a little bit unsure about the pronunciation. And I realized I haven't made a pronunciation guide. I think we were going to check on whether there was one in the archives or something like that. Was there any success with that? I don't know. Okay, I can make another one really easily.
I haven't found anything.
Okay, thank you, Brian. So let's go ahead from the fast section of the Bethlehemu. I have to go get my music. Let's go and speak the words in rhythm, not at the speed of the performance of the recording, but a little bit slower. And then we'll pick up the tempo. We'll do it a couple more times. So 76 would be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the tempo we're headed for. Let's go a little slower for now. 69, dude. Dun, 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 dun. No, let's go a little slower than that. Yori babak bochuleta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Ready. Awa yori babak bochule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori babak bochule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Nibola Yesu. I'm not doing the bass part. Nibola bebi. Nibola Yesu. Nibola bebi. Bethlehemu iluara. Nibela baba odaju. Bethlehemu iluara. Ni bela bi baba odaju. Ian ni funo. Ian ni funo. Atupe funo. Atupe funo. Tupe funo jooni papa oloreo. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba anu. Baba todawashi. I think I might have held that too long. Okay, so I'll conduct you. I'll cue you when it's time to cut off in the video clip track. Okay, so I'm curious, is there anybody who's unsure about any text in that section, needs a review of any parts? Okay, I'm looking for heads. Yes, I'm seeing heads. No, that's good. Okay. Wait, Ruth, question? Go ahead.
Unmute. Well, we've just never sung this one before, so it's taking us a lot of time to get it, and we're not there yet. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
That's all.
Is there anything I can do to help in this moment, or is that just a matter of
if it's online, that's fine. When we get home, we'll definitely be listening to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Still in Omaha?
No, we are right now in Sundance, Wyoming.
Okay. Okay.
In a
All right.
motel.
In a motel.
In a motel. Okay. Are you on your way home then, or?
Yeah, we're taking our time. We went to see the Badlands of Wyoming today, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, really cool. So we're seeing things we haven't taken time for, you know.
Yep. Oh, I know. Yeah, I love that. Okay. So right. So back to doing it a little bit faster. We'll pick up the tempo then, unless there was anybody else who wanted a spot to work on. Basses. Actually, we should really do your little spot here. And I think next time we go through, I'm going to speak the bass part, not everybody else's. So that means everybody else, I'm going to be ahead of you on the ni bo la part, but everything else is the same for the basses and everybody else. So let's see, a little bit faster. So here's 16. Now, one thing that I wanted to address with the group is it's really easy to get worried and nervous and caught up in fast words. It's much better if you can look at it in a bigger picture. That's why we've done some work on feeling the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, the dotted quarters. So you're feeling that larger beat. 1, 2, 3, da, da, da. If I was like, awa yori babak bojule. So I'm not thinking awa yori babak bojule. I'm not worrying about all those eighth notes. We can worry about those when we record the percussion part if you want to. You don't have to do that, right? Okay, but in terms of when you're speaking the words, it's much more important realizing that a number of syllables are not important, right? Certain ones are important, certain rhythms, certain notes get stressed, and other ones don't. So use those as landmarks. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. And you notice how I'm getting circular here. I'm repeating this. You could do this all the time. You could practice this way a lot. The other thing is, I'm thinking about twos right now. I'm thinking 1, 2, 1, 2. But you can feel the whole measure also. You can feel it in 1. 1, 2, 3, ta ta ti baba quojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori baba quojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. If you can feel it in that long stretch, 6 eighth notes at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, da, 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 da. That can also help you settle down your body, settle down your breath, settle down your approach to the rhythm, so you're not getting fussy about the rhythm, and you're recognizing the landmarks, and you have plenty of time to see them coming. Okay, it's a way to think about the rhythm. Now back to quarter equals 69. That's about where I've been. Let's go ahead and do this fast section, speaking the rhythm again. So, and again, I'm gonna do the basses at letter D. I'm gonna jump over to the basses part. There you go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fe. Nibolabi. Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolabi bi. Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolabi Betelehemui luara. Nibelabi baba odaju. Betelehemui luara. Nibelabi baba odaju. Ian ni funo. Ian ni funo. Adupe funo. Adupe funo. Lots of time to rest. Adupe funo jooni. Baba oloreo. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba anu. Baba todawashi. Okay. Do you remember what al niente means? It means to nothing, right? So at the bottom of page 6, when we are fading out on the word washi, remember it's W-A-S-I, but it's washi. As we're fading that out to nothing, by the time you hit measure, what is it, measure 67, the measure after H, you really should not have any voice left. You should be pretty much quiet. And there will be percussion also that kind of comes in and hides the choir a little bit. Okay, so I think now let's try, I'm curious if anybody was thrown off at page 3 when I went and I read the bass part, if you found that that made you unsure, sopranos, altos, tenors, about your part. If you didn't, then that's great, that's good. You just need to be aware that the basses go ba ba fe, ni bo la, ni bo la. It's a call and response thing. And the basses are the call, and sopranos, altos, tenors are the response. So let that be fun, actually. You could even have that be fun. All right, pick up the tempo. This is closer to performance tempo. Yes, this is performance tempo, 76. That's the new tempo. I'll bring it back up here. I'll go ahead and say the bass part again, just to lead the basses through that. Here we go, letter C, page 3, 1, 2, ready, and go. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fe. Nibola, nibola, nibola biye. Oh, sorry. Nibola biye. So, nibola bibi. I might have got lost. Nibola bi betelehemui luara. Nibela bi papa odaju, Betelehemui luara. Nibela bi baba odaju. Ian ni funo. Ian ni funo. Adupe funo. Adupe funo, adupe funo jooni, baba oloreo. Ian funo baba, Ian funo baba, Ian funo baba anu, baba todawashi. All right, good. From watching you all go along with me, it looked like you were doing pretty well with the rhythm of the words, so that's a good thumbs up. That's the tempo that we are going to be singing with in the recording. Now, I think maybe let's go ahead and put pitches with it, and so I'm going to play the prologic. Actually, I'll need to close this down. Don't save. And I need to open up Betelehemu so that we can work with that. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Pro Logic, and I'm still remembering. I still have to remember that I can't sing along with it because of the latency issues that are likely to confuse and disturb you all. So I have to remember to shut up when I've got the recording playing for you. Let's see. Yeah, so we got about 10 minutes. Let's see. And I'm thinking about how much challenge is there. I think it might not be that hard to get the transition into page 3, into the fast section, in terms of, can you hear your pitch? Do you know when you're supposed to come in? And there is a little bit of information there on the practice guides. You can hear for each part. I think I give pitches for what you're about to sing. But if you find that you need more practice on that, I do want to know about that. So let me know about that. And I'm looking for waving hands. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to start a few measures back from the letter C on page 3, and we're going to go ahead and sing pitches. You know what? Let's do it before we do that, let's do one thing first. And let's do a slow little bit of singing at letter C, so it's not like 0 to 60 in terms of speaking to singing. Here's letter C. Here's a B flat. Sopranos, Hawaii. Altos, Hawaii, babak bojule. Tenors, Hawaii, baba. Is that right? That seems so low. No. Hawaii, babak bojule. That's you tenors. Awa. Basses. Hawaii, baba. Okay, let's do that together. Just a few fragments of it, and then we're going to go back with Logic Pro at tempo. Meanwhile, here's the slow, a little bit slower version just to get used to it. There's the B flat, tenor, alto, soprano. 1, 2, ready, go. Hawaii, babak bojule. Hawaii, baba fehenti. Hawaii, babak bojule. Hawaii, baba fe. Nibolabi, Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolabi bi. Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolabi Betelehemu. And we'll stop there. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Logic Pro, go back into the speed that we'll really be at, and go back several measures before so you get a chance to hear how we're getting into it. Okay, here we go. So you can see Logic Pro. Somebody give me a wave. You can see Logic Pro on the screen. Okay, good. So let me make this smaller so I can see where we are. Sorry. Right, okay, so here we go. This is about it. So this is where the percussion starts. 3, 4, page 3. 1, 2. Hawaii, babak bojule. Hawaii, baba fehenti. Hawaii, babak bojule. Hawaii, baba fehenti. Ibola. Ibola, 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 Betelehemu iluara. Nibela baba otaju. Betelehemu iluara. Nibela baba otaju. Ian mifuno. Ian mifuno. Adupefuno. Adupefuno. Johnny Baba Oloreo. Infuno Baba. Infuno Baba. Infuno Baba. Adu Baba Torawashi. 1, 2. Tempo's going to slow down shortly. 2, 1, 2, 1, Ready? And okay, and I'm going to stop for a moment. All right. So it's really interesting, actually, to see all you going ba ba at the screen. It's quite entertaining, for me at least. So it seemed like you were doing pretty well. Do you feel like you were going along with it all right? Any spots that people need to go back over a little bit? So when we come, the slow part, aside from breath support, breath management, which is a challenge, especially for the sopranos and altos, I think the beginning section and the A sections is not really a problem for us, and you just have to sing it and get used to it and stagger breathe when you need to. The fast sections, it's mostly a matter of the transitions in and out. Those might need a little bit of more rehearsing, but I think basically there's enough information there. You're solid enough on those that you probably can do those now. Recall that the second time you come back into that fast section, we of course don't sing through the entire fast section again, and the ending is just a little bit different. So let's jump to the ending. Let's go to page 10. And looking at page 10 at letter M, so the Nibola B, I'm not doing the basses. I'm going to do the soprano, alto, tenor rhythm. So at letter M, it'd be 1 E and 2 Nibola B so Nibola B Nibola B so Nibola B Betelehemu Luara Nibela Bi Baba Odaju Betelehemu Luara Nibela Bi Baba Odaju. So that last little bit there, that rhythm on the last measure is basically the change. And we just have to remember that we're not stringendoing it. We are just going to do it as the Morehouse Choir did it, which means we're dupling, we're turning those Baba Oda into duple meter. So like if I was starting again at the top of page 11, last measure, measure 115, Betelehemu, last few measures, 1 and Betelehemu Luara Nibela Bi Baba Odaju. Notice that my tempo of my snapping, I'm still snapping the 2, 1, 2, but now it's changed to duple, 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 duple. Baba Odaju. Say that. Baba Odaju. Baba Odaju. Baba Odaju. Now go back to the triplets. Nibelabi. Nibelabi. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nibelabi. Baba Odaju. So it's a matter of changing back and forth between your feeling of triple and your feeling of duple. But I think probably you'll be all right with that. So, other questions about this? I'm thinking, I don't know if I can get all the video click tracks ready for both Sing On and Betelehemu before next Tuesday, but I will try, because I'm also needing to do Solstice Song. Stephanie gave me tracks for Solstice Song, piano accompaniment, and I need to put those together, and then I need to record the practice guides for that. And then also Eric right now is recording the solo part for Christmas Memories, and I asked him to get me that by tomorrow. So if he does that, then I'll need to sing the practice guides for that, Christmas Memories. And then of course there's Peace Peace left to do as well. Basically what I'm saying is I'm going to try to keep you busy. I'll get you something to do. Definitely by next Tuesday, I'll get you either Sing On or Betelehemu, if not both, so that you can start recording. I'm going to ask Brian to really look at that method of depositing sound recordings into the website. Thank you, Brian. Because it looked like that would be pretty simple from what I could see of how you set that up. It looked like, oh, that could work well. So I'm crossing my fingers that you will be able to find a way to make that work with no trouble. So, last things, any last things? Next week, have a recording device handy, please. Bring a recording device along with whatever you use to interact through Zoom so that we can actually have you go through the steps of recording during the rehearsal. That's my plan, so that I'll have the video click track for something ready, and I'll play that for you over Zoom, and you can use that with your phone in your hand or whatever you're going to use to record on, so that you can do that first initial steps of trying it out and seeing how it works for you. I think that that will be good to do it live, and perhaps to have people come up right then with the problems and the issues that they're struggling with, so that we can try to address them. Yes, Ed.
Is this a time to have a headphone?
Headphones, yes, exactly. That will be really important. I mean, well, actually, for this practice go through of recording yourself, probably you're not going to be submitting that to me. So if it's adulterated, as it were, if it has the practice guide on your recording of yourself, it doesn't matter because you're not going to submit it anyway. But if you really want to recreate what it's going to be like when you record, then yes, you want to have those headphones ready.
It's going to be important to figure out what ear you need to hear in and how to have your headphones on. Some of us are going to have to reverse them. I've got a 60 dB loss in this ear, and the bass coming in here is useless.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to reverse my headsets, and there are others of us that have hearing problems. So you want to practice with headphones next week if you can.
Yeah, yeah. And when I have the practice guide, the video click tracks ready on the website, I'll definitely send a special email out for that to let you know that they're there and ready. So, okay, other questions, other thoughts? All right, good. Well, thank you, everybody. Good work. And keep me posted. Keep sending the feedback. I want to know how to make this the best it can be. So,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Adam. Bye, Mary.
Welcome.
Hi, Debbie.
Thanks, Adam.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Adam.
The debates were raucous.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Judy.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, Marilyn.
I realize, Adam, why I'm having so much trouble with Betelem Humu this time around.
What's that?
I was singing tenor last time.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the bass part at all, and it's been really